And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Hey, thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It's Wednesday. It's the 18th. It's February. It's 26, not 25, as I put on a check yesterday. And yes, I still use paper checks. I actually get made fun of because I like paper checks. I like having hard copies. Is that bad? I have people emailing me and saying, I haven't written a check in 5 years. Yeah, whatever. In case you don't know, this is serious talk about everything that affects you, your money, the markets, the economy, your job, your industry, the clowns in Washington, D.C. And you know, we've been laying off of them as of late, but today, got a couple of things to say. And also today is Scam Day and Quasi-Scam Day. You'll get it in a minute. And if you do not get this radio show in your city, we'll post it at GaryK.com. We'll also post it on our X feed. If you don't follow us on X, you should. Just put our name in. If you'd like to email us, just be nice. By the way, I always get asked, Gary, on X, you hardly ever do anything with stocks. Well, that's because we feel it's wrong. What do we mean by that? We know people that keep putting up things and putting up stocks that they're buying and never tell you when they're selling. And then after it goes down 20%, oh, we sold it 2 weeks ago. We just feel it doesn't benefit. So what we do every now and then, we'll put up, oh, software looks like it really topped out. That type, we do generalizations, but mostly we whine and complain. At X. And by the way, if you'd like to email us, just be nice. Respectful. That's all we ask. Shouldn't be hard, right? Respect. Also be on the BizTV YouTube channel. So guess where I'm starting today? Scams. If you don't mind. And then we'll get into the market, which was paper thin again today. This is a quasi-scam. And it's on you. You need to know that. It's credit cards. So, I'm not Dave Ramsey, but I know everything that Dave Ramsey knows. A brilliant man, God bless him. I think he's doing great work for his viewers and listeners. So, let us throw a few things at you on your credit cards. Number one, we have not paid interest on a credit card ever. Maybe when I was 20. But ever. And all you need to do is read the fine print that Superman can't read. You know, when you wake up at 2 in the morning because your dog wakes you up and you turn on TV and there's an infomercial and they tell you if you take this, you'll grow the hair back on your head. But at the bottom of the screen it says, oh, you can't read it, it's too small. Or they tell you, oh, you're a man, you're in your 50s, your prostate this, you're going to the bathroom 8 times at night, take this pill, and at the bottom, oh, you can't read it. But at the bottom it says, this has not been approved by anybody and anything and all that crap. What you need to know about credit cards is simple, and the onus is on each and every one of you. It's a great scam. And what we mean by that is, and I don't blame them, they have to. If you pay the minimum payment back every month, you're never going to pay off your credit card. It's going to be interest up the wazoo. It's a great scam. And you just need to know that if you don't have the money, don't buy it. I can't say that any louder, any clearer, and I know. But if you can't pay off your credit card every month, you are just making them very rich. You know who? The people who put out the credit cards. There's a reason why they are multi-zillionaires. There's a reason why they make so much freaking money. By the way, let's see. MasterCard. They only do $32 billion in revenues. Visa, 10, 20, 40. That's $72 billion in revenues. And of course, it's not all interest. There's fees. There's the late fees. Forget about it. But the onus is on you. And that goes for the new big thing. I'll pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today. The buy now, pay later stuff. Rooms to go. Buy all this furniture now. You don't have to pay us, interest free for 5. Live within your means. Go read the book, The Millionaire Next Door. Do you know they're now doing buy now, pay later for rent? They're getting you. They got you. And it's all on the back of knowing the consumer likes spending money. The consumer loves. And it's the advertisements. You see the advertisements, right? The beautiful car. The wonderful furniture. You name it. Gotta get it. That's their job. So we're just letting you know, it's a quasi-scam. Not a pure scam like the lottery. Like the lottery. The lottery is the greatest scam, and of course it comes to you via the government. It's the greatest scam ever. Spend 5 minutes going on the lottery site and look at the odds. And then go look up the odds to get hit by lightning in the same place and at the same time 2 days in a row to win the big stuff. And I also want you to notice that the odds of winning the second best prize are ridiculous also. And I gotta let you know also the marketing. In Florida, they used to have You Never Know. That was the marketing. You never know. Yeah, we do. Hardly anybody ever wins. And of course, there are winners. Of course, we read about them. And of course, the lottery became bigger scam. You know what they did? They made the odds much tougher to win the big stuff. They changed, the Mega Millions is $5 a ticket now? Powerball's, $2? And of course, there's lotteries in every state. And I'm really talking to the people, listen carefully, that actually depend on it. I've seen it. I've seen people at casinos taking their paycheck into the casino, their weekly paycheck, and cashing it, and then losing all of it because they need to win. And it happens with the lottery also. I see it. So we're just letting you know. It's the greatest scam of all time, brought to you by the government. Our governments. And they got you. Because you travel the highways and you see Mega Millions, 300 million. Oh, by the way, it's present value of that, and then minus taxes, you end up with maybe 100. I'd take that. And as we've told you, when it gets up to 300-400 million, I'll play a few bucks. Why not? But if you can't afford it, if you're digging deep, stop. Think about it. Just think about it. And by the way, the scratch-offs are worse than the big lotteries. Not only does it have to be in the place, you've got to pick it out also. And if you noticed, there are scratch-offs, and I've studied this, that have been out there for 3-4 years. They put out millions of one scratch-off. You get 2 big winners and 2 big less winners. And you know what they do? If you're paying $10 for one, you'll win $20 and you go back and get 2 more. Or you only win 10. There's no big winners. They got you. The lottery, buy now, pay later, credit cards, debt. We're serious about this. The most important thing each and every one of you can do is prepare your future. And I can promise you, if you are spending more than you can afford, sleepless nights. Up next. What else? We got more. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. So scams. And unfortunately, a bunch of them come to you via the government. Social Security, the greatest scam ever. You couldn't have a bigger scam. By the way, do you know what they're telling you? Oh, you know what? We're going to run out of, and they give you a date. And as you know, I read a lot. And I cover a lot. Let me read something to you. Retirement panic is date set for Social Security to run out of cash. America's Social Security, and before you get all crazy, let me explain what they mean by running out of cash without you having fits. America's Social Security is expected to run short of funds to pay retirement benefits by 2032. Social Security relies on its trust funds topped up through payroll taxes to send monthly benefit checks to around 70 million Americans. But as the population ages and birth rates fall, fewer workers are supporting more retirees. People are living longer, collecting benefits for more years. The CBO said the Old Age and Survivors Insurance Trust Fund, which pays benefits to retirees and their families, will only be able to pay out full benefits for the next 6 years. That is 1 year sooner than last year's estimate from Social Security trustees. If lawmakers fail to step in before then, benefits would not disappear entirely, since payroll taxes would still flow into the system. But would they not be nearly enough to cover promised payments, meaning monthly checks would have to be cut by hundreds of dollars a month to match incoming revenue? Do you know what line pisses me off more than anything? Since payroll taxes would still flow into the system. You know what that means? The workers today are paying you off. All that money you put into Social Security, into thin air. They lied. They lied. They lied. It was never supposed to be that. Yet they make like it's the end-all, be-all Social Security. I want you to imagine something, or I want you to do something. Maybe go back and spend an hour this weekend and try to figure out just how much money has been taken out of you, especially if you're 60 and you've been working 40 years. I want you to think about how much money has been taken out of your paychecks. And I want you to imagine if it never went to the government. And I want you to imagine if all that money went into an account in your name, you couldn't touch it. Except for emergencies, and it had to be a good one. And imagine if you were forced all that money into just 10-year government bonds. Imagine. At your retirement, that amount of money would be in your hands, not theirs. Nobody is sending you a freaking check of your money. And there'd be a ton more. And then imagine if you got to bet on America. Just 5% of your money goes into an S&P fund. You'd have a bazillion. They screwed you. That's what that's about. And now, these cowards in D.C., so worried about their power, afraid to do anything. Just so you know, when George Bush II won for the second time, I was asked to go to D.C. to do a radio show with other shows to interview the White House because they were looking at Social Security. I interviewed the Secretary of Treasury, John Snow. The main advisor, I believe, was Karl Rove. Don Evans, who was the Secretary of Labor, and others. And we were talking about Social Security. You know what they just thought about? Looking at it. They didn't even have, we want to do this, but it has to be looked at for 100 years down the road. A week later, I got a call from my contact at the White House. His name was Taylor, and said we dropped it. Why? They're killing us. They were killing them. Dropped. Fast forward now, and nobody's doing squat about it because they're worried about their power. That's how it goes. And do you know, go look up the rules. Let's say you pass away early. Government gets your money. It's a scam. It's a Ponzi scheme. I'd say it straight to the face of anybody in D.C. They know it. Oh, do you know what the latest is? They're thinking about means testing. You know what that means? If you're too rich, you don't get your Social Security. You know what that means? It no longer was a retirement plan. It was a tax on the rich. Imagine you become successful and they tell you to go screw yourself with means testing. That's what's going to come up, ladies and gentlemen. Soak the rich. Don't worry, it was your money and you're supposed to get it out. You don't need it. You're too rich. Another great scam. Speaking of scams, the new mayor who hates Jews and hates Israel and hates democracy now wants to do a 9% tax on your real estate. Oh, all hell's going to break loose in New York City. By the way, it's his threat if the state doesn't give him money to serve his communist purposes. Just want to let you know, he also wants to cancel hiring of 5,000 police officers. Because who needs police officers in New York City? Talk about a scam. And of course, you know my other things. If you're in temple or church and somebody says, I'm buying cigarettes in New York and selling in California, making 200% on my money, and I like you so much, give me 50 grand and I'll turn it into 100. It's a scam. You do know that, right? I'm the nicest person you'll ever meet. But if I can guarantee myself 100% in the money, I'm not bringing you in. Up next, little more whining, little more complaining, but the markets, this is the one and only Investor's Edge. Okay. You know what I realized? Football season is over. I realized that. I won my fantasy football league. We gave you 11 picks during the playoffs and we went 10-1, including the Super Bowl. I got nothing else to do. Let me finish up before we get to the market. This is advice. If any of you know the Trumps, especially Eric Trump, this is very important advice because I do believe Eric Trump is the son of Donald Trump, and I do believe there's elections coming up. He's did an interview, And we already know he is neck deep in the crypto and the Bitcoin and all that. And I'll let you all decide if there's corruption and self-dealing in that and all that. On the left, that's what they're saying. We'll let you all decide. I'm more interested in that he said this. Bitcoin's going to 1 million. Now, as you know, that woman that is still down 55% from 5 years ago says it's going to 1.5 million. The guy who runs MicroStrategy says it's going to 13 million or something like that. But let me give a message to Eric Trump. Stop. It's not going to 1 million. And you are going to lose a hell of a lot of votes if it keeps going lower. I can promise you that the Republican Party has lost a lot of votes just on Bitcoin dropping 50% in the last bunch of months. I will guarantee you a bunch of people bought it into the highs based on the president. So don't go out and say it's going to 1 million, because if it doesn't, you get my drift? We're trying to help you. It is stunning to me, that Mr. Trump, the son, would be talking his book like that on an entity that is in a bear market, down 50%, showing no signs of life, has no sales, no earnings, no product, no services. The only fundamental anybody can ever say, there's only a certain amount of it. I can promise you that will not make it go to 1 million. And by the way, who's going to pay $999,999.99 to make it 1 million? And what if it matches the 22 bear market when it went down 75%? Just trying to help. Anybody who knows them and are friendly to them, you may want to talk to them. I'm done. The market. I don't know how to explain it. I really don't sometimes. First off, the Dow. This is how I'll explain it. The Dow today, and this is just today, it was kind of flat pre-market and just ran up 300 points into 1030. How about that? I'm getting my exact number for you. 533, 360 points. By 330, it was flat. Lost it all. By 359, was back up 180. Finished up 129, but was up 360. The NASDAQ today shot out of a cannon. Was up at the highs. 320. At 330 was only up 75. But they jammed it into the close also, up 175, but still off the highs. The semiconductor index, which finished up 78, at 330 was only up 30 after being up 200. So wicked, wacky swings today. I can go through individual names, but you get my point. And I certainly have to tell you, the NASDAQ 100, and the S&P remain below the 50-day moving average. The semis are the strength, but trading a little wide and loose here. Crazy trading. SanDisk was down 25 pre-market or 30 because they're doing a secondary Western Digital selling off stock, and then was up 30, $60 spread, and finished up 8. Wild swings. So just letting you know, it's a little wacky out there. Just a little bit. And of course, movers on earnings all over the map. Garmin finished up 20 today to 237, but at one time today was up 50? No, 40. And I can go through others, but I think you get my point. That is an example of some wild swinging going on. The banks, which were hit because of supposedly artificial intelligence, came out of the box strong. Goldman Sachs was up 30, but with a half hour to go, I think it was only up 12. Did finish up 17. By the way, it's a $900 stock. Wicked. In the mega caps, most still act like crap. Most still act like crap. And that is an anchor. The crypto Bitcoin, regardless of the market being up, ain't nothing happening there. And by the way, do you remember from mid-November into January, we said it's building this bear flag, this ledge. After a drop, it makes a right turn and it's just flat. And we said to you, if it breaks those lows, it's going to invite more selling. And of course, it broke the lows. I'm giving you the GBTC. It's an ETF. It broke the lows at 64.40. It's currently 51. Well, I'm just letting you know the last 2 weeks, it may be building another bearish ledge. It can't even rally. Typical, when you drop so much, a bounce is going to take you from, let's say, 7 o'clock up to 1 o'clock. Or thereabouts. Or maybe not as sharp as that. You know what it's done? It's gone from 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock. It's horizontal at the lows. That's Bitcoin, and I believe Ethereum doing the same. And I'm just letting you know, if it breaks this ledge, another leg down in the crypto. And may I certainly say you're welcome, and we hope you listened. And of course, you know about MicroStrategy, which we pleaded with you not to touch. And it is amazing the CEOs on TV, just because my stock's gone from 457 to 125, don't worry. Don't worry? Say what? He's on there saying, I'll keep buying Bitcoin till it's 10 million. And I believe he said the number that would be inclusive of all the GDP on Earth times a multiple, which has me asking if there are enough rubber rooms and straitjackets. By the way, if I'm down 10% on something, I'm having a fit. He's down 70%, okay, cool, So be careful. Rumor is we're going to attack Iran. Oil was up $3 today. So just letting you know, you're not going to be happy at the pump in the next week or so. Certainly, I've seen it. Prices are up. They're going to be more up. Oil prices. Up next. What else we got for you? This is the one and only Investor's Edge. Dun 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 dun. By the way, I'm not going to say it's a scam, but these storage unit companies, always be wary. They suck you in with low monthly, and they just start ripping you to the upside, and ripping you to the upside, and ripping you to the upside, until you really complain and they stop. Just letting you know. They entice. Storage companies. Carvana. So we don't pretend to be H&R Block, but there's a lot of people out there that are questioning their accounting. And I guess they call it off-balance sheet losses, separate companies. And I'm not accusing them of anything. I don't know. But again, there are plenty of outfits out there. Stock closed at $361. I got it down $90 in the aftermarket. I haven't looked at the numbers yet, just letting you know. Carvana. I'm also always interested in companies everybody knows about that are in bear markets, and then they'll report earnings. And how are the earnings going to be taken? Is the stock going to continue to go down even though it's been blasted? Well, DoorDash has gone from $285 to $173 since October. It's down again $6 in the aftermarket. Not a big drop, but even lower. It was down 12, so it's bouncing up a little bit. We'll see how it finishes tomorrow. Dang. Let's see if I can find any others. Cheesecake Factory. Down $4 to $60. Restaurant stocks have been a little crazy. Anything else sticking out earnings-wise in the after hours? Nah, Booking Holdings. Stock has just been trashed. It's up $80. Keep in mind, $75. It's only 1.75%. The stock just dropped 1,500 points, so it's rallying up 75. And the question is, artificial intelligence. Is it going to affect them and Expedia and all that? And as far as those drops, just letting you know, today, they bounced the brokers a little bit. Ameriprise was up 9, but it's still down $75 in the past week. Let's see. LPL Financial was up 10, but it's still down $68 in the last week. Schwab bounced today a couple. It's still down about 10% in the last week. They also are bouncing the truckers. C.H. Robinson Worldwide Freight Transportation Services up 8 today. It went from 200 to 150 in like an hour. It closed at about 168. It's back to 185. Cool. But Landstar went from 165 to 130 in like an hour. It's back to 147. Still down about 12%. So I think after taking a closer look at some of these things, they're bouncing. You know what isn't bouncing really is the insurance stocks that were hit because of it. And also the consulting stocks. Everybody's worried about consultants going forward because of artificial intelligence. I got to tell you, I'm a big believer. If you're great at what you do, you're not going to get canned. If you're an asset to your firm, you're not going to get canned. It's a people thing. We'll see. Gold and silver. They gapped down yesterday. They gapped up today. They're still in what I would call, what have we told you? Time and price. Silver is much weaker than gold. The gold miners are actually stronger than the gold, the metal. But as we stated, that high, and I'll give you the date, of 129, going to be tough to get through because it was on the climactic side. We'll let you know if that changes, but we're going to stick with that theme that it is going to be tough. It's going to be tough. By the way, DoorDash, which was down 12 in the aftermarket, is now up 2. But still, 175 down from 285 is no fun. I take that back. It's now flat. It's lighting up like a pinball machine right now. The mega caps, little bounces today in big downtrends. We're talking about the Apple, Broadcom, Amazon, Google, Meta, Microsoft, Netflix is dead, and Tesla. And we'll let you know if that changes at any time. NVIDIA had some news with Meta. At one point today, it was up 5, finished up 3, but is just sitting where it was last July. They report earnings next week. I can tell you flat out, if earnings are happy, the market likes them, a move above 194.50 would be a nice technical move, but would have to close above and stick. I can tell you the last earnings report was on November 20th. It opened at 196 and closed at 180. So you don't want to see that. Duh. That'll be next week. And boy, oh boy, are they going to be talking that sucker up like there's no tomorrow. Those are the mega caps. Yields edging up. My little worry near term, if oil prices spike, I'm not a fan of that. If oil prices spike, there is talk that we are going to do something in Iran. And not just a one shot. If oil prices spike, potential repercussions. We'll see. That all said, you have a great evening. Drive carefully. And when you get home, do like we do. Cut up your credit cards. You know what we mean. Make sure you hug your family and hug your children. They will feel better. You will feel better. I promise. Stay well. Be well. Always appreciate you being here. Until tomorrow. Have a good night. Bye-bye.